Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
Hey, we're back on Spreaker and Alex Garrett podcasting. AG Nightly has kind of been on hiatus for a minute, but we'll figure that out in a little bit. But I have a lot on my mind. As you might know, yesterday was Pearl Harbor 80th, and I want to knock that thought process out right away. 80 years after Pearl Harbor, I think we can safely say that, and I wrote this on my Instagram and my Facebook, Instagram, AlexGNYC1, that 80 years ago today, with the Christmas spirit in full swing, a day that will live in infamy, as FDR would say, on December 8th, 1941, would hit our soil. 80 years after Pearl Harbor, it is a reminder that we are still here as a nation and have survived as a nation, tragedy after tragedy, and in 2021, variant after variant. Well, and I would say mass shooting, unfortunately, after mass shooting. That's also been a thing, a big tragedy that's happened. And it involves Michigan now over the last week or so. But I also thank God for the survival mechanism of the United States 80 years after the tragedy of Pearl Harbor. And it's also a heavy reminder to thank the troops for their role in helping us with these survival skills as a nation. Now, I also loved what happened over the weekend because I feel like that resilience of America was shown in Michigan, Ann Arbor. Because what happened in Ann Arbor and in Detroit is special. Now, technically it wasn't in Ann Arbor, but for Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then Detroit. And I looked about this. So Ann Arbor to Oxford, Michigan is an hour and 15 minutes away by drive. 62 miles away. That town of Ann Arbor celebrated a Big Ten title. Let me say that again. The week that Tate Myre, a 16-year-old, gave his life to try and neutralize and disarm the shooter in Oxford, Michigan High School, football was the talk of the town, and that's how I believe sports does heal us, tragedy after tragedy. Look, this weekend they're doing the Army-Navy game at MetLife Stadium in honor of the 20 years since 9/11. I mean, that will be a focal point as to why they are up here for the Army-Navy game this weekend. That's going to be special too. So sports does have a healing mechanism, have a healing part to this nation as a survival. And the other thing is, and I'll get to about this in a minute, the other thing about this is that, and I'll talk about it more in a bit, but when all these tragedies have happened over the last 80 years, I'm pretty sure people thought Pearl Harbor was the end of the world for America. But FDR did not let that become that. I'm pretty sure 9/11, we all thought, oh shoot, the world is basically ending right now because of this terror attack. No, we rebounded and we were resilient. We also didn't bicker about politics back then, but that is the beauty of America. We are bickering, we are arguing, we are defriending people over politics. Yet today, in America, 80 years after Pearl Harbor, we can still say there is the United States of America. We are waking up in America. That is something not to be forgotten here on December 8th, 2021. 40 years on the day of FDR's Day of Infamy speech. And the problem why we're arguing now is there's a group that feels that there's a whole swath of America that feels that who's in office now is trying to take away America from us. I truly believe if they wanted to do that, they could have done that a long time ago. However, we must be vigilant. But to finish off this thought on football and the tragedy in Oxford, Michigan, and the just utter amazingness that Jim Harbaugh, his signing a 5-year deal. He gets the job done in the Big Ten game against Iowa. Then the next day, Jared Goff, last play of the game, touchdown in the end zone, throws it, perfect strike, and the Lions do come away victorious for their first win. They honored the Oxford, Michigan team, the high school football team, the high school itself, Tate Meyer. I mean, you talk about a way sports heals us from tragedy. It is that, okay? There is no doubt it is that. Now, what I think is pretty, honest to God, remarkable is that the guys after 1941 with Pearl Harbor, we got into World War II. And baseball and athletes did play a role. They left their posts in football, I think basketball, I know baseball, to serve for America in the war. So our sports heroes dedicated, cut time off their careers to serve for this great country. And I will say it's a great country. I will continue to say it is a great country, no matter what the far left is trying to tell you. And so, waking up in America is just proof of that. The resilience of us is just proof of that. But where it's going a little out of control, and where I feel that now we're starting to see real control setting in, is these mandates. Now private sector employees have to be vaccinated by December 27th in New York City. What is going on? This is where it's scary, because it becomes less about science and definitely more about control. Because when you say mandates, then that, and government enforced, then that is control seeping in beyond the sciences. And I get Omicron has to be fought. I know that Pfizer today said that the vaccine is actually neutralizing Omicron. Okay, that third booster is neutralizing it. So I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. I'm saying the government overreach here is becoming more and more, even in our own city. And it's no wonder that people like Carol Markowitz are moving away to Florida, and I hope they come back, the New York Post columnist and a friend. But why? Why did 420,000 people leave during the pandemic, and barely any of them came back? Well, the taxes were through the roof already. The control was starting to be a little more. And now we're saying, yeah, mandate us. So 80 years later, that's not how America was 80 years ago. That's what I'm realizing. That's why the arguments and the bickering and the defriending of politics is happening. Because there are serious consequences to a lot of these policies that are going on. I don't know exactly what raising the debt limit is, but I know they did that yesterday so we don't default. I mean, when you talk about America possibly defaulting, that's always a fun sign, right? But in all honesty, it's the government control of this vaccine that should be worrisome. And that should be argued and debated and even sued for or sued against, in my view. But on the whole, even 2020 when COVID hit and nobody thought we'd be out of that, everybody kind of thought the world was ending. Well, 2021, 71% at least are vaccinated. And I'm hopeful that we can be out of this in the Biden administration. Crazy to say, I know. But to the people that are fighting every day because they think this government is trying to take us away from the America that rebounded 80 years ago, that rebounded 20 years ago, that rebounds literally every day from something. I feel like, especially on the left, if they want to take it away, they would have already. I don't know. I feel like, and the judicial system works, so the courts will silence those leaders that are becoming a little overreach. So I think we have nothing to worry about. So we don't need to get into these long argument threads about nonsense sometimes, utter nonsense. I wonder what they're debating, actually, because it's like too long of a paragraph. It's like, what are you talking about? So, to those that want to debate each other and talk to each other, just remember that thank God, 80 years after Pearl Harbor, the troops, and actually, I mentioned on my Instagram, AlexGNYC1, the troops helped. So I kind of lost my place. But yeah, the long threads, you don't need that. Oh, and the troops. So I mentioned this on my Instagram. The troops are actually helping administer the vaccine in places like the Javits Center, like Coast Guard, National Guard, all that. They're all pitching in. And that is a great thing to see. So our troops and our Navy were attacked 80 years ago. But they never attacked the spirit of America. And for those worried that our spirit of America will be attacked eventually, I don't think so. I think America will continue to be strong as long as there's an even judicial system. America will continue to be strong as long as there's common sense leadership. America will continue to be resilient, bounce back from anything, as long as people stay vigilant. There has to be that. 100% right. But let's stop saying Biden's going to take your country away. Or let's stop saying Trump's going to take your country away. Hey, we're 7-8 months into Biden, and thank God nothing's happened. And I know they're like, well, give him 3 more years. Stephen has that in him. But I have a lot of faith. I always believe God puts whoever he feels will keep us safe in the helm at that time. I've always believed that every election, even if I didn't vote that way, whoever it is, that's only by voter choice, that's by divine choice. And so, our checkup, if you will, 80 years after Pearl Harbor, is yes, we're a mess, but no, we're not going anywhere as a nation. I don't believe so anyway. And that is what I want to hang my hat on every day. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay resilient. We're going to stay strong. We're going to make sure Russia doesn't annex Ukraine. Okay, because I was in the news yesterday too. We're going to make sure that people who abuse their power, like the Cuomos, are ousted. That is part of America. We should be ensuring also that people can get back to work, are inspired to work. There was too many people quitting in September. 4.4 million people. Is that real life here? So how do you do that? You limit the burnout. You maybe do give a better wage than some people are living on right now. And you offer competition. We want to fight for something of our own. We want to feel like we're earning it. At least I hope. I mean, 15,000 stimulus checks later, I feel like some are okay with just those. But others, they're hungry. They want to work. Let's get them back out there. There are too many shortages dealing with right now. And I get the supply chain shortage is a big deal, but that can be fixed. The trucking shortage is a big deal. I don't know. Can that be fixed? I feel like it could. But with all these crises going on, we can still say, we're here. The Manhattan skyline is here. New York City is here. And while I believe Eric Adams is the last bastion, last hope for New York City politics anyway, but I think New York City in general, I feel that. This is a chance to resurrect a lot of things. I also feel that it's our time to say, you know what? What 80 years that we've witnessed in our different eras have shown us. I mean, we have survived a Lincoln assassination and an assassination of Kennedy. We have survived a lot. And that is worth thanking God for today. And I'm sure the Michigan fan base is thanking God that their Harbaugh investment works out, that Goff actually got his head on straight and won the week of tragedy. Sports heals too. Sports heals too. But our story of America, 240 plus years later, it's not over. And I want people to remember that when the days look dark and dreary, that our story is not over. And you too can make a role, be a part, play a part, fix this country up, fix this economy up. Use what you can. Use your podcasting, your blog, innovate change, inspire change through your writing or your words. And let's get it back out there, America. Our troops don't serve us to just sit home and, wait for America to get better. We all go out there and make America better by just living in it. And praying and thanking to God we're in it every day. That's it for now on Alex Garrett Podcasting. I'll talk to you soon. Alex Garrett Nightly, kind of under construction. I'm not sure what's going to go on with that yet, so stay tuned. But until then, we're always adapting, and we're always talking about things that should be trending, topics that should be trending, but quite frankly aren't. Have a great day, and a great Christmas season.